we're back from our break there, and this is our second segment. And we had it is exciting because we learned so much, first of all, about the teen dating and all of that, and the self-respect. But now we're also talking about youth, and this is what's great about this program. First of all, is these two segments is that we're really highlighting great things that our youth are doing.
And it makes me wish we could hear about it more. So since we wished for it, we just decided to bring it up for ourselves.
To make it happen, because 'tis the season, and we have to learn how to lift everyone up. But then
what better way to be lifted up than with young people?
Exactly.
Doing great things.
And they're doing great things through this program that I've heard about. Kind of heard about just every once in a while. Just a little bit.
Like every other day.
Every other day. The Capital Kids program. The Capital Kids program is an incredible program through the Recreation and Parks Department. And we are real excited to have two of the greatest members of that program, I say, in our studio today, or actually here on site at 1111 East Broad. But so I'd like to introduce the program director of the Capital Kids program, Miss Sheri-Lynn Wynn. I'd like to welcome you to the program.
Thank you.
So glad to have you here, and we're going to learn much more about the program. And then on our other side here, we have Miss Brenda Fields. She's the site director at Sullivant Gardens.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And I heard that you're the longest member that's been part of the program since the beginning.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're really looking forward to hearing from you and everything that's happened from the beginning till now. Yes. All right. But let's start with Miss Sheri-Lynn Wynn to our right here.
Say your name.
I do. Well, how about if I just call you Miss Sherry?
Right.
I'm
sure
the kids call you Miss Sherry. So, Miss Sherry, tell us about this Capital Kids program. For some of our viewing audience, they might not have ever heard about it, not know anything about it. Tell us a little bit about it and why it got started.
Well, thank you very much, Napoleon and Toni, for having us on. The Capital Kids program, or the Capital Kids Enrichment Program, is what we call it, has been functioning since the year 2000. Our wonderful mayor, Michael Coleman, established this program because there was a need to fill that gap between the time children get out of school and the time their parents are off work. It's been proven that during those hours, children will experiment with drugs, alcohol, sex, and violence. And so to have this opportunity to enhance our neighborhoods, to educate our young people, is just a wonderful opportunity. And what we do is we have an after-school program that runs from 3 to 6 every day. We operate at 4 different sites around the city of Columbus. And the children are grades K through 5. And they come to our site, and we have 6 pillars that we offer for them. From nutrition, you have to feed them first because you want them to be full on nourishment before their brain kicks into action. We do homework with them. We work with them on prevention programs, life skill programs of all types. But one of the biggest things that we do, and Miss B, as we call her, will talk about that a little later, is we're in the schools. We take the opportunity to be in the schools of which our children come from. Columbus City Schools is a feeder for our program. So at all 4 of the schools, or many more than 4, we're in the schools. We sit in the classroom. We want to see what the teacher is doing. We want to help enhance the learning experience for these young people. So they come to our sites, and we work on homework, which is our biggest thing. We're within the Recreation and Parks Department, but education is what we do. So I think that kind of gives you a brief synopsis of our program. And since 2000, we have enhanced over 3,000 lives, and not just the children, but the families as well. Family involvement is a key component in our program, and we feel that we have enhanced the lives all the way around.
Wow.
14 years it's been going on, and hopefully it's going to continue on for another 24 years. Most definitely. Well, let's then turn to Miss B. As that's the name, right? Affectionately known as Miss B.
Yes.
So for all the young people who are watching the program, they go, "That's Miss B."
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So you've been here since the beginning, and you're now at Sullivant Gardens. Tell us about your experience there. How has that been over the years and even to date?
It's been a journey, but what's most important is that this really is a wonderful program. I tell people all the time it's one of the best in the country, the entire United States. It's Columbus's little secret in serving the community. One of the great things about it is that the success of the program is because of our community partners, the support we give, how we are involved in the schools. Like they said, academic support, that's a priority. I think people believe we're not a daycare, we're not babysitters. We're there to offer enrichment things to the kids in their lives, tutoring. We're making sure they do research. We're teaching them things about cursive. We're teaching them things about, remember, a good old encyclopedia, teaching them things that they're going to have to use. That's what happens from this life forward. Mm-hmm. Teaching them about safety, teaching them about understanding things, people who are different than us with disabilities, challenging them to understand their role. Most importantly, it's about telling the kids they matter. Mm-hmm. And for me at Sullivant Gardens, is in a community that's socioeconomically poor, but at the same time, we have bright, intelligent, wonderful kids who want a chance to know that they can survive. They may not go to college, but that doesn't mean they'll be a failure in life. And so that's what the program is about, teaching them about living, about giving back to the community, about serving. One of the things we did a few years ago was the kids all want to be a football player or a basketball player. So we decided to collect 50,000 pennies. Initially, I wanted to get, it was a couple of years back, a PlayStation. We were blessed. Somebody donated that. Okay, let's get a Wii. We were blessed. Somebody gave it to us. We did penny parties, and the kids would come in with 5 pennies, and they wanted to pay for all of us with the penny party. That's about sharing and feeling proud. You don't say, well, that's not enough. No, you feel proud. We wound up giving the money to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and it paid for a family to go to Disney in Florida. But the kids had something to be proud of. At our site, kids come back. I had one person who volunteered. She's a senior. No, she's a first-year college at Bowling Green. From kindergarten up until her senior year, she came back. They all come back. So it's a program to give back. And that's what it's all about, teaching our kids that they matter. And teaching that because of your economic background, you still can do good. Mm-hmm. It's a great program.
Wow.
You were saying earlier, you were talking about the brilliance of the kids. Is that what you want the community to remember, that regardless of where they are, that every child comes in with a brilliance?
Yes. If you ask my kids in my program, they come to you, ask them what are they, they'll tell you they're geniuses. And it makes them feel good. You may not be, but I can walk in there and I can stand up and say, I'm a genius. And there really are some very brilliant kids in the program. One of my kids got the highest scores in the OAAs last year in the reading. I have another kid I call Brain. His name is Quentin. Quentin has been asked by Northwestern University to take the ACT, or kind of a test that's similar to that, in January of 2015, because he's so smart. I mean, these kids, they're honor roll.
Quentin is what grade?
4th grade.
Fourth grade.
4th grade.
College is calling. Say hey.
College is calling him already.
That's amazing.
He's
my goodness.
For his mind.
For his mind.
This is wonderful.
The kids can read. The kids are bright. Last year, I think we had about 8 kids to pass the OAAs. And Sullivant School does a really great job. There's a group that supports them who went to Sullivant back in the day. And every year they give gifts. This year they receive cameras. And we had 8 kids from our site to actually receive for passing the OAA. So there's always something to encourage them and support them that recognizes what they are. Kids can read, they're honor roll, they do wonderful. They're brilliant.
It sounds like, that some of these young kids are from some environments that might not be the most positive environment. But it sounds like, by going to the after school, and I understand you also do summer programs, that you're also instilling this hope.
Yes. Yes. And we give them opportunities during the summer. I call a career time. Anyone in any profession come in and they talk to the kids about their profession. I've had a chef. I've had someone who does hair. A friend of mine, he's an Oscar-nominated producer in California. He came in and talked to them about being filmed, pursuing your passion. We talked about anything. The firefighters would come in and talk to them about being a firefighter, being a policeman. So it's saying that you can and you will be. Don't let that stop you. If you come and ask them, what do you want to be? I may want to be an engineer. I might want to just train horses. Whatever it is, let's say, yes, you can. But they have homework. You have to do research and find out about what's required to do that. So, even the kindergarten and first graders, they say, can I do it on the computer? Because it's, again, an opportunity to learn that you can.
Right. So I think I've always followed the adage that kids can't be something unless they know what's out there to be.
Yes.
And I think it's amazing how you're bringing so many different careers, and those careers may not actually exist in that particular community, but you're bringing them into the community because now it's possible.
Dreams on Horseback. They bring their horses every year to our site.
They do.
So some kids get to ride horses for the first time. And then some of them may want to be a vet. You know, that's something you find that they ask. You ask questions and say, why don't you look that up on the computer and see what you can do about it? You know, that's what it's all about, exposure.
Wow.
And for the kids there, it's life beyond the block, because a lot of times it's very isolated. So I want them to see.
Life beyond the block. So let me hold you right there, and I want to turn back to Miss Sheri, because you know you're leading this program. Where do you see this program going in the future, or do you have a vision that says, okay, this is where I want it to go?
Absolutely. There are so many other children out in the community that need to be served, from K through 5, which we serve, and also into middle school. I'd love to see after-school programs established for middle school children throughout, you know, as an expansion of our program. One of the things that we're doing more for our families, as I mentioned, as one of our pillars, is family involvement. I know Ms. B at one point in time was looking into opportunities for GED, opportunities for parents, for literacy programs for parents. We can't continue to deliver that message to the young people alone. We need the families. And so if you can't read as a parent, it's very difficult to help your child move through the process of reading and through school. So I'd love to see more enhanced programs for families and enhanced opportunities and locations for our after-school sites. Each site has waiting lists, so we can certainly use additional sites. So that's a plug for additional funding, I'm sure.
I was thinking that so some of the things that help Capital Kids Enrichment Program be successful, the city, the leader of our city, our mayor, is behind the program. It does, in fact, get some funding. Does it get some funding from the city?
Actually, we do. We're general funded, and then additional funding comes from partners and relationships.
Right, because people make the assumption that because you may get some funding because you get some funding from the city, that's enough to carry you. But the reality is what?
That's false.
Probably
that
far from the truth.
Absolutely false. We get a very nice budget that we work with, that takes care of obviously all the administrative things, but any of the extras,
CDBG
field
funding.
trips, we get CDBG funding through some of our full-time staff are funded through CDBG funding, but as far as general funding to actually use for the program, that all comes through general funds, or we have a grant fund set up that some program dollars through the mayor's office that we've had kind of through the years, and then
but the need is still there.
Right. Well, and expanding. It sounds like if you have a waiting list,
absolutely.
you know,
and
the opportunity to make
the population of our city is growing.
Absolutely.
Right. Yes.
And we are strategically located in areas where the schools are the Columbus City schools are some of the lower performing schools. So we've already attached ourselves to those neighborhoods, and that's what we would do as we moved into other locations.
So what else is part of your winning formula? So again, you've got the leader, city leader, Mayor Coleman is behind the program. You've got some funding. You've got some partners. What else contributes to your success?
Phenomenal staff.
Staff and
relationships. This is great. Let's talk about those.
The relationships with the schools.
Yes.
I mean, because last summer I had 40 kids, and I had from 30 different schools.
Oh my God.
40 kids. Say that again. 40
kids in the program from 30 different schools.
Wow.
Usually we have up to 5 or 6. Because we do charter schools too, but that tells you, and it's word of mouth, that people appreciate it. And the community people support that come out and want to support us. That really helps a lot. Capital University's program, we have tutors that come in and help us a lot. We're actually listed with Sullivant as a school as a site to help them with their IETs, individual testing, to help the kids with their reading and education. So I sit in on those and to let them know if they need help, that we're listed as something to help them with the program, with their educational needs.
And this wasn't part of the original job description. This sounds like the things that you've developed and you've said.
The other related duties.
Right.
Well, but what I'm hearing though is also, especially from you, Miss B, is just the passion.
Right.
I mean, it's so this is something that you really enjoy and you love doing, and you see the impact, you know, just out of the young people's faces.
Yes.
Yeah.
when they come back to see you.
Yes.
And I mean, as late as last Friday, I had kids come back. They come back all the time
to see you and let you know that they're
how
doing
where
well
they are in their lives,
Oh.
and just to stop in and just see, parents stop by, and that's what's wonderful. Even former workers will come by to see the kids and say they were proud of how it helped them, and for planning for their future, because it is.
Right. You are truly embodying community.
Yes.
And tell me about the rest of your wonderful staff.
Our staff is wonderful. We have, as I mentioned, we have 4 sites, so there's 4 site directors. They're wonderful people. They're passionate about what they do. They're educated. They're connected in the community. And they are just phenomenal. They just attach themselves to these young people pretty much beyond the classroom. We also have high expectations within our communities that we serve, but in addition to that, we like to have state-of-the-art technology in our classrooms. We like our children to operate on the best of the best, as they can, of course.
Because you're leveling the playing
We're
field for
leveling the playing field.
Nice.
We want them, just like what Ms. B said earlier, to have the same opportunities that other persons do in other communities that have greater resources
Right.
to bring those things to them. And with technology, like what Ms. B mentioned, the kids get on the computers, they do research, if they ask a question, research it. Get on the computer,
Right.
check it out.
Explore for yourself.
Explore for
Lifelong learning.
yourselves. But we try to provide the best, the most up-to-date classrooms. We do learning stations so that the kids can go to different areas and learn about whether it's a science area or whether it's something about math, etc. So, but the staff is the ones that carry the direct service off every day. And we have 1 site director and 2 part-time education program instructors at each site. We're down a couple staff people. We're getting staffed up now as we speak. But those are the people who touch these children every day.
Well, speaking of the staff, is there also the opportunity for volunteerism? I mean, it sounds like I know some people come in and spoke and what have you from different leadership positions, but is there also opportunities for people to volunteer? Says, I really want to do something. If I can help out in any way.
If I can donate a weed, or
Right,
if I
right.
can,
Or if I can come down personally and and I don't know, put together blocks or whatever it is.
They've gone on the website, and I've got a call from a nurse who was in Worthington, and she wanted to tutor. And so they'll call. They can look on the website, and they do have to do the background check. But if they want to volunteer, they are always welcome, because
this is
every
great.
child
And
needs.
what's the website?
With the city of Columbus.
columbus.gov /capitalkids.
Okay.
And we just recently had a wonderful opportunity that United Way facilitated for us. We had Alliance Data Systems. Their employees volunteered and came out to all 4 of our Capital Kids sites. I believe United Way donated all the paint supplies and everything we needed. And we had these persons, there were probably up to 10 at each site, paint our classrooms.
Wow.
And it's
Nice to have
little,
a fresh
it
coat of
seems like a
paint.
little thing, but the
It makes a big
amazing difference it makes
Yeah.
in brightness and children coming into an exciting environment. So we have wonderful volunteers and partnerships with the Cap City Half Marathon. They give us a lot of opportunities for exposure. They also give us dollars. So it's been a great opportunity in attachment with our community gardens at all of our sites. So we kind of have a health and nutrition thing going on along with exercise. So that's always good for the young people. Especially with the gardening, it gives them an opportunity to learn about nutritional foods and to have a math and science experience, because there's opportunities. Well, how far has this vegetable grown in X amount of time? And so we give them great learning opportunities through hands-on experiences as well.
Can you dive down a little deeper, in a sense, in the community gardening piece, because that has, we have so many different community gardens around the city, and it brings people together. Tell us about that particular program and the community garden and what that does for us.
Well, actually, what our community gardens are called community gardens, but they're a little different. What our gardens are for is to help enhance the food and the produce that the children are taking home. We are blessed to have partners like Mid-Ohio Food Bank, who gives all of our children backpacks full of groceries every other week. Every 2 weeks, the children get an opportunity to take those backpacks home. Wow. Well, as you know, all throughout the country, food banks are struggling. And so to have the opportunity to provide that produce, you know, attach that with the food that we're giving our young people is a great experience. We have volunteers come in and work with the kids, teach them. We've had Bill Dawson from Franklin Park come in and teach the children about gardening and, you know, all the little things, the critters in the garden, etc. So it's just a full rounded experience. But at the end, they get to take home the tomatoes. They get to take home the peppers and onions.
Right.
And also we give them a starter plant to take home. We also encourage them to go grocery shopping with your parents. Help enhance the food choices that are coming into that household. So it's been a wonderful experience.
Wow, it sounds like you're starting early so that it pays off for the whole community later. Wow.
Yes. Planting seeds.
Yes, that's what I call it all the time, planting seeds. It's planting seeds, making every moment an educated moment. Every moment you can teach, every moment they can learn.
You talked about the neighborhood, and we talked about kids can't be something unless they know it's out there to be. You do something special getting kids to Capital. Tell us about that.
Yes, every year I take a group of kids over to Capital University to do a college tour. And it's just to expose them to a college life. And it's wonderful that Capital lets us come in, gave us a tour, the kids eat in the dining room with the students. What's important, though, again, is the exposure to a college, because sometimes you don't have that opportunity. Last year I took a kid from Sullivant as a partnership. I always like to take, although they're not in the program, as my relationship with Sullivant Elementary is, I take some of their kids with the Capital Kids.
Oh, nice.
And one kid was there, and he says to me, Miss B, I never thought about college. He said, but I think I want to go to college. And out of 5 years that I've been doing that, that was the highlight for me that says we touched a light. We planted a seed that he actually wants to go to college. And that's what I tell the kids. I start telling them, you know you're going to college. You know you're going to college.
Right.
You know, start planting that
the
seed.
The expectation early.
Yes. And
Yeah.
if you have high expectations, and the children know I have high expectations, they want to live up to those expectations. They really do. You raise high expectations, then they will do. They want to step up to raise the bar for themselves.
That's right. Well,
Yeah.
that's Capital University is my alma mater and Napoleon's
Right,
as well.
right,
So
Yes.
we're so proud to hear that.
Yes.
Oh,
Yours
good.
too.
It's a Capital
Yes.
One house.
Yes, and I mean, and again, we have the tutors, the America Reach tutors from Capital, and that is one of the greatest blessings that we have as far as tutoring, because sometimes we don't see everything, and when they give it to me, I will take it to the schools so the teachers can find out. I remember several years where we have issues, and I've taken it to the teachers. The children have gotten help they may not have gotten otherwise.
Right.
So that's one of the blessings. They have been a wonderful blessings. They even have sponsored kids. The students have sponsored kids in the program because they love it so much. The students have bought clothing for the kids because they want to help the kids. And it's a great experience for the students as well.
I think you truly embody what it means to be an enrichment program. I mean, it's giving the families, because you really are partnering with the families and the whole community and the schools. And this is phenomenal, to say the least. Right? So no wonder. So and it sounds like, you know, Ms. Sheri was saying that you go at about 400 miles per day. That's your rate of speed. But tell us what keeps you committed to giving it your all.
Because you know you're going to make a difference. It's my God-given assignment right now. You know, I didn't know where I was going to be put when I got the job, but I knew when I was put there that God gave me an assignment to touch lives, to make a difference in lives. Small, one step at a time. A word that says, I love you, a word that says, I care, a hug, put an arm around the shoulder, and the kids love it, and they know they matter. And that's all a kid ever wants, is to know that they matter to someone. And the kids get mad when they get, the parents use that as punishment at times. If they get in trouble, they have to stay at home. Oh, the kids, they don't want to go home early. They want to stay because we show them that they matter and that we care about them. And you continue to do that, and you keep pushing them and pushing them. We function better off a positive than the negative.
Absolutely.
We hold on to the negative to bring us down, but the positive will lift us up all the time. I have so many notes in this folder behind my chair, is so full of notes because it's little love notes that the kids write to me all the time. And it means a lot because they take the time to say, thank you for making me feel like I matter. And that's what's important.
That's great. Well, I'm sure a lot of parents are grateful to you as well. It's hard to be at work knowing that your child is off from school around 3 o'clock or that the after school program that they're in, may not care for them. It's nice for them to know that they're in your program and they're in good hands.
And the parents are very supportive.
Yeah.
They are. They really are. You pick up the telephone and call them. I'm the link to the school. The school can always get to the parents, so they go through me. That's something that's important to me, is that if you can't find a parent, then I will get the numbers for you. That's just the way we have. I have a great relationship with Sullivant. I've had it since I've started there. And in the other schools, it's about reaching out and letting the people know there's someone there for these kids. Someone's got to care.
Real quick, how do you let them go after when they age out, in a sense, going to middle school? I mean, that's gotta be traumatic.
I don't.
You don't.
I don't. My kids, I tell them that, I said, you're always mine. You will always be mine. You will always be a Capital Kids. And they are proud to be a Capital Kids.
Right.
So what you do is you check in on them and make sure that they know somebody cares. And they will come and see me. Can I talk to you? Yeah, let's go back and have a conversation. So they still come back. They know that someone's there. So you let go from that physical sense, but you know your spirit, and you pray that God will take care of them on that journey, keep them as safe as they can. But just have someone pray that someone takes your place, that you can't be there. Have someone take your place and know that they can guide them.
Well, I've got an idea. I know we've only got a couple minutes left, but I'm hearing that, has there ever been a reunion of the Capital Kids? Has there ever been that happen?
We've talked about it, but we've not gotten that together.
And I've been asked
it
about
should
it by
be.
people.
Yeah.
Well, we need to make that happen.
Yes, sir.
We need to make that happen, because I think that would be a great thing to happen.
That does
Just
sound good.
from what you're talking about, this is something where you bring these kids back together, and so many of these kids have done some great things. And people, when the younger kids see how the older kids have progressed and done great things, that's then their mentor.
It seems like it should be
leadership.
sponsored by Kleenex because of all the tears.
Yes.
You really do realize that. I had a girl come earlier in the year again, and she says, Ms. B, I should have listened to you, but she came back because she said, I wish I was a kid again. Because the kids' rules for Capital Kids is stay a kid, have fun, and learn. That's my Capital Kids rules, because they only have that short amount of time. So it is. It's time. It's just. They come back.
And my 3-year-old granddaughter can't wait to be a real Capital Kid. She loves her T-shirt and to be around the kids.
I have parents say
but
that
just
too.
that energy,
Well, we have to make sure that this doesn't remain Columbus's little secret. We want this to be the big thing happening here in the city of Columbus that everybody knows
Common
about,
knowledge.
and that we want 1,000 people in the program all over the city and continue to branch out. This is a great program. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Sheri and Miss B.
Thank you.
You're doing great work out there, and keep it up. You're making that positive impact on our young people out there.
Thank you.
Living beyond the block. Woohoo! All right. Well,
come visit us.
we will come visit.
Yeah, have him
and
as a speaker.
I'll be a speaker. We'll be a speaker, and we want to make sure this happens as far as bringing all our kids together.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And, thank you, our viewing audience. This has been a great program, and I just want to leave with this. We have so many great programs coming up that impact our young people, and we want them to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
Also, we have the Martin Luther King Oratorical Program that's coming up here, January 17th. It's going to be held at the King Arts Complex. Also, the Martin Luther King March and Program. We want everybody to be there at that. That's on Martin Luther King's birthday on the 19th, and we have a new starting point. No longer at City Hall. We are going to start from the King Arts Complex, march from the King Arts Complex over to the Lincoln Theater.
All right.
So it's going to be a great program there. And then also we have our Civil Rights Tour, which we actually had some of our Capital Kids go on our Civil Rights Tour with us. And that's April 7th through the 11th.
And book your seats now.
Book your seats now. Get on our website. Do that right away, because seats are going faster. We're only taking 50 people, but it's going to be young and our older and seniors and what have you throughout on the tour.
Notice how carefully he said
the
that.
Seniors, yes, our
Good save,
anyway.
good save. You can go to www.crc.columbus.gov.
And also go to our Columbus Community Relations Facebook page. So we are in the social media. We have it also on Twitter and everything else, but we hopefully get all the information to you through that. And if you have any additional questions, give our office a call at 645 645-1993. That's 645-1993. We're more than happy to have you get some additional information, and also get some show ideas. If you want to be on our show, give us a call there also. So, Ms. Toni Teague and myself, we'd like to say have a great week and take care.